Well, this is it. My first Facebook, I'm not even on the right platform, my first YouTube Live. So bear with me if anything is weird or strange, or whatever. I'm new to this, and to be honest, I can't wait till you guys get online so that you guys can ask me any questions. So I guess just to get started, so today I decided that I was going to do a YouTube Live to help actors decide whether or not they want to move to Georgia for acting. I've lived in New York, I've lived in LA, and I pretty much have gone to all the larger markets. And I'm happy to report that I've had just as many opportunities here as an actor as I have in LA and New York, probably because a lot of the industry is here at this point. Okay, so let's get started. There is no way on right now, but I'm hoping that you guys get on. You can ask me some questions. But some questions that I had before I moved here was, how am I going to restart my life here as an actor when I've already made the contacts that I've made in LA? So lucky enough for me, I was able to maintain my LA agents, both my commercial, my print, and my theatrical agents. So I do have them sending me things for auditions that, funny enough, shoot in Atlanta. So I have them operating for me, and then my manager got involved and helped me find an agent here. So that was a lot of the hardest parts for me, was like being able to actually contact people here. Another thing is I have gotten really close with casting directors in Los Angeles. And the casting directors in Los Angeles, they know me. I mean, I was there for a little over 15 years. And for me, those relationships were really important to garner. And it took me that long to get the ability to be like, okay, cool, she's going straight to callback. Or has an audition. Well, we know that we can rely on Kristen for this audition. I mean, that was one of the things that I was worried about, that if I come to Georgia, I literally have never auditioned for any of these casting directors. So, one thing that I also noticed, I'm so sorry, I'm getting all these text messages because it happens to be my youngest daughter's birthday. So we're just getting a bunch of text messages as I'm doing this live, so sorry. I'm also doing it on my phone. Okay, where was I? Backtrack. Okay, so casting directors. So there's probably, I don't want to say a handful, a little bit more than a handful, but maybe over 10 or 15 casting directors that are like continually sending me things. I've gone out for things for Netflix. I've gone out for things for BET. Yes, I have auditioned for Tyler Perry projects. One other cool thing that I'm noticing is that here, I don't know if it's because I came from LA or if it legitimately means that there's just more opportunity here. And one of the things that I've been getting a lot are feature films, leads to feature films. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I didn't get blockbuster feature films in Los Angeles to audition for. It's odd because you would think, yes, that's how you do it. But I'm talking about like feature films like Marvel and things like that you're getting to audition here in Atlanta, that you're not necessarily able to audition for box office stuff in LA without being there for a really long time. So those are good. I just had an audition for a lead in a movie that's filming here, probably either a Hallmark movie or a Lifetime movie, which for me, I feel like that's a really good opportunity for people to start seeing your face and being able to be like, oh, she can carry a film. So if she can carry a film, we can start sending her out on more auditions. Also, series regular roles. I have been going out for series regular roles in Georgia. And I thought that was like a giant myth because in 2019, I did want to move here before the pandemic just because I have kids and I wanted to be able to offer them a better quality of life. And one of the things that I found was, I'm so sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I have a bunch of text messages coming in, but one of the things that I was worried about was that I wasn't going to get as much opportunity here because I was told there's this myth that all the recurring roles, the guest stars, the series regulars would all be in Los Angeles, cast out of Los Angeles, or cast out of New York, when that's actually not the case anymore. I mean, I've literally gotten series regulars, recurring roles, guest star auditions in Georgia, and I think that like I said, I don't know if it's because I came from Atlanta, I came from LA and I had a reel, or it's because the casting directors are giving more opportunity here, or they just want to see, because I've seen co-stars on Actors Access. Co-stars are one-liners for those of you guys who don't know. I've seen co-star one-liners on Actors Access in Georgia. And that kind of stuff you don't really see in LA. Okay, cool. So now that I've shown you the differences on that, you can rest assured that if you do come to Georgia, there are opportunities here. There are recurring roles. Next. So my moneymaker in Los Angeles, in between TV and film, was commercials. Now, if you don't know, you have non-union commercials and you have union commercials. And union commercials follow a set of rules. So you would get residuals, you would get like a certain amount of pay. If you wore your clothes in the commercial, you'd get paid like an extra $30 for every article of clothing that you wear. So you could do 1 or 2 commercials a year that was union, and you could live off of that for the whole year. Sometimes 2 if they renew it. So I was really worried about it. I left LA having shot a Pepsi commercial. Actually, it was American Beverage Association, but I played the Pepsi girl, and I was told it was going to play, and it didn't play during the pandemic. So it was like, oh no, like I wasn't worried, and then I became worried, and then when we had already decided we were going to move to Georgia, it was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And luckily it ended up playing in 2021, the beginning of 2021, and it just actually got renewed, yay. But prior to that, I was like, what am I going to do for money? Like in between my TV and film. Because unless you have a series regular or something very consistent, you can't really live off of TV money. You have to have another job. You have to have a side hustle. So going back to my train of thought, I was like, how many commercial auditions are going to be there? And I'm going to be completely honest, guys, commercials are no bueno out here right now. I think that there's going to be a lot more to offer in the next year or 2, because there are ad agencies that are moving out here. I recently just shot a union commercial here, but it was my first union audition in the whole year. And okay, granted, I didn't actually sign with my manager my agent in Georgia until about June. And then I was like on this really long break, and so I didn't actually start till about the middle of August. And in that time, I didn't get any SAG auditions for commercials. And then I got one SAG commercial audition, and I ended up booking it. And what I found was they actually flew the camera operator, and they flew the director of photography, and they also flew the director in. But everybody else was local, including the celeb that was in my commercial. I can't say what it is yet, but you'll see it in January. It's really fun. But that gave me hope, because when I spoke with the director and with the people that were, you know, the ad agency and stuff, it's looking promising that commercials can start coming here any minute. Like if more actors move out here, if more directors move out here, more camera operators move out here, this is the Hollywood of the South, and it very well may be eventually become like the Hollywood Mecca. I mean, I'm hopeful because I love living in Georgia. So to if for anyone who was like me, whose commercials are bread and butter, like I said, there is not that many commercial auditions here for union jobs. There are non-union commercials that are out here, but I will tell you the pay is not the greatest, as it is in LA if you happen to go out for non-union commercials in LA. Also, something else that I found here was if you live near Atlanta, like you don't actually have to live in Atlanta, the actual city of Atlanta, if you move here, because everything is self-tape or live Zoom auditions. So you can move out into horse country, which is kind of where we are, and you can audition here and you can have like a big house with lots of land and stuff like that, if that's what you want. For us, that was something that was appealing about moving to Georgia, is that we can provide for our kids the life that we want to give them, and like just let them be kids. And you can still audition here, and like for example, this commercial that I shot was a 40-minute drive into the city. Now that's like a podcast. So it's just, there's all different ways to, like all different areas where you could live, and you don't necessarily have to be in Atlanta, where if you were in LA, it is not that way. Like you cannot just live in like Riverside or Lancaster, which is the desert, and then like come into LA like for an audition or something. You want to live close to the Mecca, and if you live close to the Mecca of all the studios and things like that, it's not cheap. We're talking about, on a good day, like $1,000 per room if you want to rent. If you're in a studio, it's like 300 and something square feet for like $1,500. Like it's not cheap to live in LA. And if you are a husband and wife and you have kids, there's definitely two people need to be working. And like I said, commercials were how I made money and contribute to the family. And so like I had a commercial every month, whereas here, that was not the case. So I really did have to like rely on the fact that my husband has a steady income, until I started garnering attention from casting directors, attention from obviously the agent that I have now. But like, this is a place where if you want to start your acting career, it's a great place because you get opportunity when it takes a minute to kind of like build the blocks in LA. Again, I'm coming from LA having already had stuff on my resume, so maybe that changes things. But I do have a friend who moved to Georgia, and she's already booked a commercial, she's booked 2 feature films and a short film, and she's being looked at to be represented already. And so it's just that kind of speed of a booking or something like that is, when I first moved to LA, was not that way. Like it took me a minute. I worked at LA Fitness for $7.50 an hour until I was able to start being able to just not have another job except for acting. Okay, so I can't see if you guys are asking questions, so I'm gonna try and open up my computer. Hopefully it doesn't do anything crazy when I do that, and see if you guys are asking questions there, because I am on my phone, obviously. So give me 1 second. I hope you guys are having a good holiday. I love it here. It's so nice during Christmas. Probably should have had this up before I came on the call. Okay, let's see. What other things have I noticed the difference in Atlanta versus California? Well, if you are worried about like if you are worried about COVID, like legitimately worried about COVID, and it's like something that's really important to you is to like have people like all masked up and everything. It's hi, you can hear me. Hold on. Okay, got it. Okay. So if that's something that worries you or whatever, I mean, majority of people, at least in my area, don't wear masks if they're outside or anything like that. It's a pretty free, and I'm choosing my words carefully because I obviously don't want to offend anybody. But like, if that's something that worries you, then you would just have to take extra precautions. Oh, great, thank you. You can hear me, yay. Okay, thank you so much for writing that, and I can see it on my phone, so I don't need to use my computer. Okay, great. So I love being able to, okay, neighborhoods. Oh, let's talk neighborhoods. Okay, so if Atlanta, if you want to move to Georgia, for families, for people who have families and have kids, like the best areas and the best schools are Alpharetta, Johns Creek, and what was the other one? Milton. And those places are about 25 minutes to 30-minute drives right into downtown. Not very far from Buckhead. We were talking about 20 minutes drive to Buckhead, where they have this really cute area that's like kind of like in like a Beverly Hills kind of area. It's really nice. If you are coming from LA, Alpharetta gives you the feel of living in Old Town Pasadena. You have something called Avalon, which is like the Grove or like the Americana, and then there's like a little downtown that's very quaint, kind of like old Pasadena. If you like horse country, like kind of like Santa Clarita area. I don't really want to say Santa Clarita, but Ojai. It's kind of like Ojai. You want something like Milton. So the topography in northern Georgia is very like hilly, and there's mountains like 30 minutes away, because obviously the Appalachian Mountains start here. So if you want that feeling of like, oh, I'm gonna miss LA's mountains and beaches and things like that, well, there are lakes here that are warm enough to swim in, that are very clean, and that this is the area you want to be. You want to be in northern Georgia. However, there are areas that are cheaper. If you go below Atlanta, like near the airport, like it's a lot cheaper, but it's also a lot flatter. So if that's something that for you don't mind or anything like that, then that's a cheaper area. Then you have Midtown, and again, guys, I've only lived here for a year and I haven't really left my house that much because I love this area that I'm living in. But I am gigging all around Atlanta, singing with the Tinseltones right now during the holidays. And I'm noticing more neighborhoods. I love this neighborhood, Roswell, which has like this old, quaint town feeling of like living in the South. Like, I've never been to Savannah, but I bet it kind of has that kind of feel to it. Okay, so, and if you have any other questions about neighborhoods, I think you're gonna just have to like YouTube the neighborhoods. But yeah, oh, and the reason why I said the northern for people who have kids is because they have the best school district and for public schools that you can get. I think it's like 9 out of 10. It's amazing. And it's pretty much like private school. Okay, oh, have I gone on a ghost tour in Roswell? No, but I will tell you, when I went on a tour, when I actually was walking through Roswell, I was like, I felt some eeriness. I was like, oh, this feels like haunted. So that makes sense that there is a ghost tour, if that's the case. I'm currently trying to start my career in Texas, but I want to apply for jobs in LA and Atlanta. Do you think it's possible to do these jobs without moving there? Oh, this is such a good question. Okay, so my friend who lives in Mississippi, she's been acting, she does self-tapes and stuff like that, but there have been Atlanta agents that are like, it's not, because this is post-COVID times, it's not just like where you could just fly in and be like, yeah, I'm a local, you know what I'm saying? So it's not the same anymore. So I do think it's important for you to move to Atlanta or LA if you want. But I'm from Houston, Texas, and there will be a point where, because I was doing acting in Houston, Texas, I was doing a lot of commercials there and things like that. There is a point where there's just going to be a cap, and there's only a few shows that are in that are in Texas that are cast out of Georgia. To be honest, like I see a lot of stuff that are shooting in North Carolina. I see stuff in Tennessee. I see stuff in Florida, and they're all casting out of Atlanta. Like they pretty much handle the South. So if I were you, yes, I would move to Georgia or LA. Yes, same, exactly. So you hit that like point where it's like, okay, you gotta take the next level. So I feel you. I went straight to New York, and that was very hard hitting, and it's true. If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. So I feel like after New York, it's like LA was like, oh, okay. And then after LA to Georgia, I feel like it's like super easy. Like it's so fun. Does anyone have any more questions? I don't even know what else to say about Atlanta and Georgia. I feel like I covered it all. I might just do another one of these. But it's been, I will say, living in Georgia. What are good questions to ask a talent agent? I'm meeting one with it. Oh, okay, good. All right, so a good question to ask a talent agent would be who is who is on their roster that's like working, or how many of your people are working at the moment? Do they send you out for series regulars? Like this is a really important question because, and I will say this, because I've had agents and managers that believe that, okay, if I have to start with a little role and then a bigger role and a bigger role and a bigger role, and sometimes that journey can take really long. But then with the manager I have now, she's like, you know your type, you know what you can do. I'm gonna send you straight to series regular stuff. So that, I think that's important, is that like you wanna find out if they have any considerations about sending you out on bigger roles and what the process is for that. Also, something that you want to ask is you want to ask them how their relationship how is their relationship with casting directors and things like that. Really important question. Okay, and then you have, oh guys, I lost the chat. Okay, no, I want to see them. All messages are visible. Okay, where are your comments? I think I saw something about theater. Okay, so the theater scene, apparently the theater scene is good, but again, I don't know that you can live off of theater. No, it is not co-star land, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But if you love and enjoy theater, I think that Atlanta is a good place to, come here and start. Okay, so in the beginning, I said something about co-star land. It is not true. It is a complete myth. I've had lead roles for feature films for like the Hallmark Channel and Lifetime. I think if you are a complete unknown, I think that co-stars might be where you will start. But again, I think that's important, the question for you to ask an agent, because I remember, I think I did 7 years of just book girl, slut, hooker. And I was just like, that's it. I need an effing name. Like, if I'm gonna have one line, I need a name. So, but that was something I did. And if my manager and agent didn't do it, I was like, okay, then maybe we're not right for each other, because I've been with you for 7 years. It's time need to move to the next level. And then my team now, I mean, they don't send me out on one-liners anymore. Like that just doesn't happen. But I think that's also because I've built rapport. But yes, I've gone out for series regulars here. I've gone out for recurring roles here. I've gone out for guest stars here. So the co-star line is a myth. Okay, I saw someone said something about being a Black actor. What was it? Because you're gonna have to write it again, because it came up in my feed and then it hides it. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna keep talking until you write it again. Okay, so what else with Georgia? Okay, casting director relationships. Oh, I think I saw something about community. Yes. So I personally haven't, okay, top 3 reasons for making a move to Atlanta. We'll get to that. Okay. I personally haven't been as plugged into the community here, but there are like, there are things that are available that casting directors will put on like a coffee shop or some type of open thing where they like come, they want to meet new people, and so they will put something out there. But I personally haven't really needed to like plug into a community, because luckily I've been able to like already get casting directors to start looking at my stuff. But again, it's because I have a reel. I came from LA. Okay, top 3 reasons why I moved from Atlanta. Okay, so to Atlanta. So, like I said, in 2019, I wanted to move here, but I had an agent and I had people that were like, no, all the big stuff is cast out of here. Like, if you want to go to Atlanta just so you can have some credits on your IMDb, yes, yes, yes. But when the pandemic started, there was a lot, like, I saw that my children were not happy because A, they couldn't go to school. We didn't have a yard. We had a nice house, but we didn't have a yard. And the zoos were closed. The parks were closed. The hiking was closed. So it's like, why are we living in California? Why are we paying these expensive prices if we can't even do anything? So we didn't know how long that would last. I mean, because you guys know, the goalpost kept moving. It was like 3 weeks, then a month, then it's 2 months, and then 3 months. And next thing you know, it was just like, when is it going to end? We don't know. So we moved for our kids, for the life we wanted to give our kids. And my husband's from Oregon, I'm from Texas, and we are used to lots of land. So we're like, okay, if we're gonna move, we're not gonna move to the city of Atlanta. We are gonna move out into like the horse country. We wanted to be able to have them have places to run around. So that was one of the reasons. Second reason is I watched a live with my agent now, who is Jay Purvis, and she said, there is so much stuff that is shooting in Georgia. Like the stuff that we watch, like the stuff, like Netflix, all the Netflix shows that I love. Ozark is shot here. We Stranger Things is shot here. Fear of the Walking Dead is shot here. Like there's just so much stuff that I was like, oh, I actually really love this show. I'd love to be on this show. Whereas you have like a lot more soaps, you have sitcoms, which I actually love sitcoms. There's no sitcoms here. Those things are shot in LA. And I was like, well, you know, that's the give and take. Because at the end of the day, like I moved to LA to do movies and television, right? And that is here. Marvel is here. DC Comics is here. Like I came here. I mean, I know if some of you guys follow Kurt Yu, but like he booked oh my gosh, that Avengers movie with Scarlett Johansson in it. Oh my gosh. Well, he booked that from Georgia. Like, I didn't book any feature films in LA for Marvel. Like, come on. So for me, Black Widow, thank you, Kristen. So those are things where I was like, okay, Atlanta's hot. Like, thank you. Atlanta is hot. So that was reason number 2. Reason number 3 is we actually wanted to be able to purchase more property. And I don't know if you know, but the cost of living in LA is very high, okay? We lived in a 1,900 square foot house. The house, by the time we left it, was worth $858,000, and it wasn't in a very nice neighborhood. Now you can come here and you can get a really nice house with land and all this stuff, so that if there ever was another pandemic and everyone had to get locked in their house, at least my house feels like, right? But also, I now have enough money where I can purchase property for rentals and things like that. So like, because I was affected, y'all, like by the pandemic. Like I couldn't audition, I couldn't do anything. All I had was that Pepsi commercial that I was hoping would play, because I had to pull out unemployment, guys. Like, I was like, what? Like, I had the best year as an actor of my life in 2019. So I was completely devastated, and I did not want to have to ever rely on acting or losing my income again. And being in Atlanta, I can at least like, okay, if I lose my income for a bit, at least I have some property that I can rent out or something like that. So those are my top 3 reasons. Oh, thank you, Curtis. What else did someone say? Oh, I wonder if I hit that. Oh, yes, here we go. Okay, so how supportive is the Atlanta community? I think I did that already. I built my career in LA, established representation, joined SAG, booked a national commercial, trained consistently. So I have a nice little resume, but I feel I've hit a ceiling in LA. Yes. I agree with you. I don't think the ceiling ever, I think you're always gonna have room to grow in LA. But I do believe, again, I'm gonna use Kurt you as an example, because we actually did a seminar, and I'm eventually gonna attach it to here, where we talked about the difference between Atlanta, New York, and LA. And something when I was doing research, even like to record him, he had literally more IMDb credits than I did. And I lived in LA for 15 years and he came from Ohio and he like started his career when he was 35. So it's just like, those things are just like, we're like, oh, there's actually a lot more opportunity in ATL and not many people are saying that, but it's true. So yeah, and again, I've also seen it on the flip side where some people who moved here and they're like, my career didn't go anywhere when I moved to ATL. But again, I think it's really important that you know your type. I knew my type. My manager helped me get Jay Purvis. She set up an interview. I knew exactly, this is the kind of stuff I could book. These are the shows that are here now. These are the shows that I could book right now. I don't do these roles, I don't do these roles, I don't do these roles. And I don't get stuff like that. Because that's what I asked for. Again, it's like our lives are like, it's in our hands. Like the agent and the casting director, they get 10%, y'all. We have to do the work. Like, it's more for us. Okay, next. I'm in Oakland where theater is popular. Is Atlanta good for theater too? Yes, I said that. As a young Black actor, I think Atlanta may be the move. Yes, agreed. There have been a lot of roles where I'm mostly auditioning for, like, actually not mostly, but like it's pretty 50-50 where I'm auditioning for roles where there's a lot of a Black cast. Did that question. How does someone find a trustworthy agent or manager? Okay, so Alex, I have noticed that for me, I follow the agents that I'm looking at or thinking about before I pursue them. Like, I don't just follow anyone. So like, I was following Jay Purvis, I was following Houghton Talent, I was following SWA, and I would just notice that Jay Purvis was usually, she would do a lot of lives and she'd answer a lot of questions, and I was like, I like her. I want someone that is like really in the mix. Like, she's very hands-on. So for me, that's what I wanted. Like, I'm a mama bear, and she kind of has like that mama bear vibe too. I mean, she is a mama bear, and that's why I loved her. So that's how I found my trustworthy agents, is that I actually went and sought them out on Instagram, right? So like, so if you watch my IMDb Pro video, like how to find the right agent on IMDb Pro, you can go down in the drop down menu and you can see all the agents in Atlanta. So if I click on the agents in Atlanta and I see most of the people aren't working, or they haven't updated their IMDb or something like that, to me those are red flags. But again, it's me. Like, for me, it's a red flag. And I knew that if I'm coming from LA and I have this bomb agent in LA and a bomb manager in LA, like, I don't want to just come here and just get any old agent. Like, I want to actually do the research and find someone that is like up to the same caliber. And so that's how I would find my trustworthy agent, that would go on IMDb Pro, and then I would follow them on Instagram and like really like do your homework and be like, I could see myself with this. And I also noticed too, where like there are some agents, even smaller agencies, because I was looking at smaller agencies too, they would post such and such booked this job or whatever, and they are praising the people that they have, and I really like that. That for me is key. Oh, there we go. And then we have, okay, cool. So I answered all these questions. How do I print out headshots? Girl, I haven't printed out a headshot and I don't even know how long. Like, Everything has been through the internet or like something like that. Like I just haven't printed out a headshot in probably 3 years. But if you do, are you saying that because you want to print out a headshot and then mail it to an agent, or is it for auditions? Because I haven't gone to a single live audition since I've been here. Not one. Not one. And I know that for commercials in LA, like I haven't gone out for that many commercials in LA because they are live. However, when I was here, because I was bi-coastal for a bit, so I didn't really need to leave. Or find an agent here yet, because I was still going out for California jobs that I would be on like a live Zoom or something like that, and then I'd fly out to do the job, and then I would come back, obviously do all my COVID tests, all that stuff like that. But now commercially, I don't go out as much in LA because they are live auditions mostly. But theatrically, it's still self-tapes. So keep up on those self-tapes, guys, because it's so important. Speaking of self-tapes, I hope you guys watched my video on the self-tapes that booked. I even learned a lot from my friends. Yes, so I will answer that question in a second. So, yes, so like, if you get your self-tapes just right, like every time you get asked to, maybe you don't book the job, but if you get asked to come back for that casting director, that is a sign that you've done something really good. Okay, so this question that you asked about, did I do my research different markets before choosing Atlanta, and why Atlanta? Okay, so I lived in New York City. It's a tough place to live. I loved every bit of it. Okay, I loved every bit of living in New York. But between every gig, you gotta have like a waitress job or something like that, where you can just be, you can come at night, because you can live like a middle class life as a waitress there. I mean, I was a cocktail waitress in at the coffee shop in New York, and you could make like anywhere between $300 and $1,000 a night, and I only worked from 4 to 9 p.m. right, or 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. right, and I only worked 3 days a week, and it was good, but I couldn't see. I was 21, like I was in college when I did that. Like I couldn't see myself doing that my whole life. So then I was like, all right, let me move to LA so that I can actually, because okay, we're talking about like at the time, theater would pay $800 a week, and I mean, I was making more as a waiter than I was doing theater at the time. So I was like, okay, if I go to LA and I book one commercial, I can make $100 grand for the year, and I work one day. And so that's kind of like why I went to LA, was just like, financially it just made more sense. And then also, again, I was like, I don't know if I want to do theater anymore. I think I want to be in movies. Like I want to be a movie star. Like that's what I want to do. And funny enough, I ended up being like a commercial queen in LA, which was great. Hey girl, I didn't mind doing commercials because it was good money. I was able to, obviously have 2 kids and live in LA and not have another job. It was awesome. But at the end of the day, why did I move to LA? Well, so I could be a movie star, not a commercial star, right? So it's like, okay, so I made a huge decision to move to Atlanta. And did I do research on it? Yes, but I was still terrified because I hadn't heard anyone say that commercials were around. And then I know that unless you have a series regular or something like a feature film or something, like you're not going to be able to live off of just that. Okay, we're talking about like a co-star line where you say, can I take your order? That you're going to make $975 for the day. You're going to take out your agency fee. You're going to take out your taxes. And then what are you left with? Like not that much. You can't live off of that. And how often are you going to get a co-star line? Maybe 1 or 3 times for the year, maybe more than that. So obviously you can't live off of that. You can live off of commercials. One commercial, you make $100,000 to $200,000, and you've worked one day. Like it's great. So there is not that much SAG commercial stuff here. So that's what it is. So that's the research that I've done. It's like New York, I was in theater. I didn't really do much TV and film. I did background for Sex and the City once I hated it, and I said I was never gonna do it again, and then I moved to LA and I did background work, which was funny. But at least that at the time, the cost of living in LA, even though it was expensive, you were getting more for your money. You were getting a beach. You were getting the ability to have a car. You could go hiking. Like, you could get out of your house. Whereas in New York, you're stuck. Like, if you don't have a car, you're gonna ride the subway. And I can't even imagine what it would have been like for those folks that were during the pandemic and they could not leave. Like, I would go crazy. So yeah, that was mostly my research for Atlanta. I was just like, well, Jay Purvis says that people should just move here because all this stuff is coming here. And it's true, there's not a lot of red tape in Georgia for film and television. And I think, and there's incentives also for people to shoot here. So I'm getting auditions from California from my agents where they're like, hey, okay, cool, so this is a LA casting director, but it's gonna be shooting in Atlanta. So it's like, I'm already here, great. Yeah. So I'm gonna wrap this up in about 5 minutes. So if anyone else has any other questions, I would love to answer them. And I like these live things. I like being able to talk to you because I'm so used to filming myself and like pretending like there's people here and having to keep my energy up. But I really like being able to engage with you guys. It's awesome. What areas in Georgia are good for actors to live in? Okay, so earlier in the video, I talked about this, but I felt like it really depends on the lifestyle you want. So you want to move to an area, like it's not like LA where you have to live near the studio. You can choose the lifestyle you want. You want mountains, you move to northern Georgia. You want cost of living that's super cheaper, it's a lot cheaper, then you want to move like below Atlanta where there's where it's a little bit cheaper. Then if you like, but I still like the city life, I like to be near things. I love this area, Brookhaven. Oh, if I didn't have kids, I would live in Brookhaven. It's so nice. It's very townhouse, brownstone-ish. It kind of has that vibe of like Brooklyn a little bit, but like way more like upscale. And then I love Sandy Springs where my girl lives. What is the good part of living in a space with lots of actors? Yeah, so and that's another thing I miss. That's one of the things I miss about LA is I miss the hell out of my friends, man. Like I have so many actor friends at my fingertips. I have my girl, Tiffany Bird, who's on here, and she's helped me with a few self-tapes. I'm like, girl, can I come over to your house? But like, I don't have that many resources, and I'm not one of those, I generally do not like self-taping. Like if I'm already doing a self-tape and then now I have like a digital reader through a screen, I'm not a fan. So I will track people down. Like I have a few actor friends and they're probably sick of me, but I'm like, listen, I will come with my ring light. Like you don't even have to come to my studio. I will come with my ring light and my phone. I just need a live person to self-tape. But I miss the hell out of that in LA. It's like actually having a huge resource of actors, which I don't have here. And I also, I miss auditioning in a room. There's something about, even if you don't book a job, it's something about like just having a casting director, you know that they're seeing your whole performance and that they're gonna say to you, thank you so much for coming. Like just that acknowledgement, like I saw you, okay. You don't get that with self-tapes. So yeah, I miss that about LA, but I don't even think they're not even doing live auditions anyway. Could you give a brief breakdown on local, regional, and national commercial work, meaning time frame from shoot to when the commercial airs? Okay, I don't know about the regional, but I can tell you, just booked a union commercial here. I got the live audition the day before. The callback was 2 days later, and it was over live Zoom. And then that same day that I got the callback, about 2 hours later, I got the, hey, you're on, here they call it first hold, first release. What is it called? Oh my gosh, guys. It's like a new term I've never heard. It basically means you're on avail. Like, are you available? Yes. So I got that within 2 hours and then we shot the next week. So commercials move fast. I actually got pinned for this role for a TV show here that was super cute, and I had the audition on Friday. I sent my self-tape in on Friday, and then on Monday I got pinned, and then it shot that week. I ended up not getting the job. They cast someone else, but it was fast. Like, it's not a long time. Like, but one thing I like about Georgia, okay, about Atlanta is like, I feel like LA, they're so used to like, okay, here are your sides, you're gonna have an audition tomorrow live, right? And so you don't have to, I mean, you memorize everything, you work your ass off, you spend like 7 hours working on the script. Where here, I legit have an audition, self-tape, that's due May 2022. Like they give you a long time to prepare, because they want you to have it, in my opinion, they want you to have it memorized. They want you to be rehearsed. Like, they want you to give the performance that you would on TV. And that's the opportunity you have in Georgia with self-tapes. Is I've never had less than 3 days, except for last week. I had about 3 days for a thing, but that's because they quickly needed a turnaround. Maybe a person that they had dropped out or something like that. But yeah, Hollywood, Atlanta wood moves fast. Okay, is that everybody? No other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming. I was so nervous that no one was gonna show up. This is my first YouTube live. And I'm so glad that you guys showed up, and I can't wait to have so many more times with you. I love being able to talk to you. You guys are awesome. My friend just wrote one last thing. I've been out of the game forever. What would you say would be a softball audition? What? Tiffany, what is softball? What would be a softball audition to start with? I don't get what a softball audition is. Yes, I will do more of these. I will have lots more lives. I would love to answer more questions. Also, while I have you on here, what other videos would you like to see? Because I feel like I'm all over the place. I'm like, here's some booked self-tapes, and this is how you do backdrops and things like that. What is something that I want to get from you guys? Like, what is something more that you would like to see from Kristen Keeps It Real? Anyone? Anyone at all? Like, easy to start. Okay. Easy to start. Yeah. Yeah. So like basically starting from like the ground up. And it's so funny because I've been in this industry now for, I don't even want to say it, but like almost 20 years. And I remember we didn't have resources like this. We didn't have YouTube like this to be able to be like, where do you go? So I definitely had a lot of scams. I spent a lot of money, and I wasted a lot of money. So I really want to be able to, I think that artists are really, really important individuals, and they shape the future. And if you have them, if you have this idea or whatever, like where you're constantly you constantly get losses and things like that, and you give up easily, and this is just not a game on like how to give up. You just can't, like it is a persistence thing. It's like, now that I'm in my 30s, it's like I see a lot of my friends, actually I don't want to say a lot, because actually I have a lot of friends that are actors, but I see friends that I have that, you know, it's like it's too much. It's like, is the reward worth the amount of work? And if you are an actor and you love it to the core and you can't think of anything else to do, and anything else makes you feel sick, then you have to do this as a career. Yes, I will do that. That's a good one. Oh, how to analyze a script. I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't do acting. I don't go to an acting coach anymore, unless it's with the Acting Center LA, because personally, the Acting Center LA helps you come up with your own ideas that nobody else is going to be able to do. And they do have a whole thing on how to analyze a script. Maybe I'll get the Acting Center LA to help me with that one, because I definitely don't want to like steal their things and like not give them credit. Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to not give up. But you know what? When you get that paycheck, you're like, oh yeah, And then when you can start getting health insurance as an actor, it's like, oh yeah. Like it's amazing to be able to say, yeah, I can buy things, I can take care of my kids with acting. Like it's really an honor, and every single one of you can get there. It really is just persistence. It really is. Okay, cool. How to build a reel with not a lot of footage. Yep. You don't even need a lot of footage. Do you know that you only really need one good thing? That's how I started. How to do videos like I do. Oh, okay. Oh, how-to videos. Got it. Acting tips on how to stand out like you taught me at the house. Yeah. Okay, girl. Okay, thank you guys so much for coming. Have a Merry Christmas. I don't know if I'm gonna have a video next week yet. Some things fell through, but I will do my best. But if I don't see you before the new year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy all of that, whatever you celebrate, okay?